How do you keep pushing forward when your whole world is falling apart? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my story and 6 tips that helped me to recently overcome depression and anxiety. Life seriously feels like a never-ending struggle when you're at your lowest. But hitting rock bottom does have its benefits. It can be the beginning of a powerful journey for people like you and me. Now, as I'm going to be doing in this video, and I would encourage you to do as well, is to accept and then share your struggles with others. Why would you want to share them? It's so easy to keep the hurt and pain and confusion inside of ourselves and not share it with other people, but opening up and being vulnerable and sharing it with people, friends, family that you trust, it can form stronger bonds and build like a solidarity between people. And that's really the first step in recovering from pain and addiction, and then inspiring other people. So something that I'm learning as I go through all this is how to turn our struggles into strengths. First, we're going to want to really accept the truth of the situation and then take personal responsibility for everything that's going on. From that point, we can begin to seek out help from other people and start to set some kind of goals. So now as we're going on this journey, we can begin to build healthy habits and learn to stay consistent with them. So I want to share just a little bit about what's been going on in my life, because I think it'll help give context and maybe you can relate. The truth of the matter is I was born into a large family with no money. And so from birth through adolescence, all I knew was poverty and financial stress, worrying about how to survive. And that actually never went away from me. It carried on through my 20s and 30s. And here I am, actually 44, and I still haven't yet transcended poverty. I've always been broke, living paycheck to paycheck, working in the restaurant industry for 24 years, and then leaving the 9-to-5 job situation and trying to be a freelancer and working remotely as a digital nomad. I was always up and down with clients. It was never really certain that I would have money to cover the bills, and living in general. The stress that comes from money can bleed over into life and affect our relationships and even our health. And that's what happened with me. You know, this depression that I was in recently was really deep and dark and bad. I would wake up every day wishing that the day was over. And I had thoughts go through my mind about divorce and suicide, and just nothing was good. And so it took a direct hit on my relationship with my wife. And, I think the most honest thing I can say is that at that time I was depressed severely for about a month, maybe 2 weeks ago. And barely the only kind of joy and happiness, barely, that was coming through into my field was, we have a 10-month-old son. And, he's really happy and good looking and fun when he's not being, infant who's crying and all that. Comes with the territory. But when he's in a good mood and stuff, is like, it's really pure and stuff. And so that was like the only glimmer of joy that was coming through to me, because I was just so messed up about being broke and having to borrow money from my wife, not being able to provide for my family, feeling impotent, wondering if this would ever end, if I would die, never realizing my goals. Just all of the weight and pressure, it just caused the severe depression and anxiety, and I was deep in it for a whole month there. So it takes a toll on relationships, and it takes a toll on your health when you're not in a positive mood at all. You're very unmotivated to do anything positive and healthy for yourself. You're not thinking very optimistically, and you're not really exercising or eating well, So it's a vicious cycle of a bad feedback loop the money worries affecting relationships and health. So I was not doing good in my relationship, and I was not doing good with my health. I wasn't eating very well, wasn't exercising, and none of that helps. But that's one of the insidious and crazy things about depression and anxiety. So a lot of my bad habits would creep back in, because I was in a state of hopelessness, really. And so, I struggled with addiction to alcohol and tobacco and sugar for a long time, 22 years. And so I relapsed. I ended up drinking again every day. So the only time I could feel calm and somewhat normal about life was in the evening when I would drink. Of course, that doesn't help the next day because you're hungover, but then I didn't want to be awake or alive anyway. And so I just looked forward to like 5, 6 o'clock when I could start drinking again. And I started smoking again too. And so that's just how I was coping with the depression and anxiety at that time. Truth be told, I still had some drinks the other night, and I'm still smoking now. So when you open the door for the bad habits to come back in, it's hard to kick them out again. So that's something I'm still struggling with, but at least I'm not depressed. I'm not actually really happy, but at least I am not hoping that the day is over when it begins. So, that's a step in the right direction, and sometimes that's all you can hope for. But I'm feeling better now. I have been for about 2 weeks. Coincident, things are so bad. The depression, the spell just mercifully lifted. And coincidentally or synchronistically, I don't know, at the same time as that was happening, I actually got about 2 or 3 clients, not a whole lot of money, but something to do, something to occupy myself in. I was also, and still am, doing a little bit of free work for a couple of different people, helping them with their websites and photography and social media and graphic design and things like this to keep me busy. I think that's an important thing to keep in mind is sometimes you can't just be sitting and sulking. You got to try and do something. Grab some low-hanging fruit and try and get a small win in. And so that's what I did, and it helped. That's really a general overview of my recent experience with a very severe bout of depression and anxiety. I'm sharing this with you because it's a little bit cathartic with me, and I think it's helpful for people who are going through it to share it with others. I also feel like I would be lying if I didn't talk about this openly and honestly, so I just want to be fully transparent about it. And through sharing my story in the context of what I went through and how to get out of it and these 6 steps that I'm about to share with you, I'm hoping that it will we'll be able to connect, and I'll hopefully be able to inspire you to overcome your own depression and hopefully to course correct some things that are maybe off in your life, because that's what I'm doing for myself. Before I give you the 6 steps, I want to say something really quick about how you can help somebody who is going through depression and anxiety. If you aren't struggling with it right now or haven't really in your life, you probably know somebody who does. And I think it's helpful to hear from somebody who's gone through it. And if you know somebody, let me give you a little bit of insight on how to interface with them, because sometimes the gap between reality, between someone who's depressed and someone who's not and generally happy in life, can be very far and wide, and it's almost like you don't even speak the same language. And so I just want to give you a little bit of insight into how you can help lift somebody out of depression. First, just understand it's a really tough situation for everyone. Obviously for them because they're unhappy, and it's tough for you because you're feeling happy and you don't know why they're unhappy maybe. So you got to meet them first with empathy and understanding. The first piece of advice I would give is to, once they're open to talking even a little bit, just listen. Do not try and fix them. Sometimes all they need is a listener and not a fixer. You want to acknowledge their pain without judgment. That's going to validate their feelings and build trust and rapport with you. You could say things like, "I understand that things are really hard for you right now. Something just as simple as that. You have to be patient. You cannot rush this. Patience is key. For them, the struggle is real and it can take a long time. For me, it was a month. And so the path to healing is not usually going to happen in a day, sometimes even a week. You must be patient and allow time to work its magic. If you feel an urge to correct the way they're thinking or speaking, I invite you to resist that urge. Avoid correcting them at all costs because it comes across as dismissive and it only will make them close off more, which is not what you want. Regular check-ins can be a good thing. They may not want to talk all the time, so you can always observe through your peripheral and just be around, look and listen. And when you see an opening, you can invite an exchange. Just a few simple words, invite them to talk if they want. Regular check-ins like that can be a good thing because sometimes they just might be slipping deeper into it. And a quick little check-in from you could be enough to help them in that moment. So supporting someone who's going through these hard times really just comes down to being present and available, to be listening to them, and to validate their experiences. It's really that simple. Your patience and understanding can be a lifeline to those who are going through depression and anxiety. So really, sanity can be at stake. Sometimes I thought I was losing my mind and I might not come back. So I want to give you a few steps to stay sane on your journey if you're going through depression and anxiety. I know it probably sounds cheesy or cliche, but the first thing I would say is to set small, achievable goals for the day, not long-term or anything. You're just trying to survive the day. So try and set one small, easy goal that will be like a quick win for you. That's one thing that helped me. Another thing that actually really helped is to reach out to a friend. Don't feel self-conscious about it. It's okay to share with somebody that you trust that you're going through a very hard time. So I actually ended up having a call with an old friend. We talked for like 2 hours and I just told her what was going on, and it was cathartic just to share. And she was a very good listener and didn't try and fix me. And so it just felt good to get it off the chest and out of your head, because it's all kind of a tangled mess when it's inside of you. Another thing that helped me was to commit to doing one small habit that was a good thing instead of just sitting on my ass and stewing over things. You know, it could be like simply stretching for 1 minute, going for a little walk around the block. Nothing big like that. Just try and build one habit a day where you spend at least a few minutes doing something good for yourself. It's not world-changing or groundbreaking or anything like that, but it is a step in the right direction to identify one small habit that you can do and try and do it every day. So a lot of this is mental, and you're going to want to accept extreme ownership and be radically honest with yourself, because it's very easy to find yourself in a state of delusion and confusion. And if you confuse, you lose. So you want to be crystal clear about the truth of the matter, and it's all in your head. You want to be radically honest. You don't want to go to the far end of that, to like shit talking yourself, where the self-talk is very negative, which I've had a tendency to do, but I just notice when I'm doing that and try and find that balance. Like, I'm not a great guy, but I'm not the worst guy in the world. And so for you, you want to find that balance of where the truth is. And it starts with you. So it's in your head. You have to be radically honest, take extreme ownership, and only then can you go external when you're going to reach out for help to other people. So when you take these small steps, moment by moment, day by day, week by week, these small changes can build momentum, which at some point will have big changes in your whole life, and that will extend to other people around you and communities far and wide. And that's what the Whipple effect is all about. These small changes that you can make in your own life will have a big impact in other people around the world. And so that is the name of my newsletter. If you want more detailed writings on topics like this, you can find the link in the description if you want to sign up for that. If this landed for you, I'd love to hear about your experiences. I will be checking the comments and I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment on this video. And if you want to see some more videos on my YouTube channel, I got some short highlight clips you can see in this playlist here. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye for now.